Radio Cayman,
the voice,
the heart, the soul of the Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is Friday, the 8th day of April 2022, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, whether you're a pedestrian or a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please, please, please be extremely cautious. Please ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Remember, the life you save may just be your own. Again, we urge you as individuals, observe the rules of the road. And sometimes we think that, oh, well, if a person works for a certain organization, they're logical, they're, reasonable thinkers and everything else. Well, this morning, I didn't get the model of the vehicle, but coming down on Linford Pearson Highway, and when you reach to where you go, I'm trying to remember the name of the road now, the roundabout after where you can turn and go towards Jose's gas station, and then you those continue further down on Linford Pearson Highway towards the small roundabout, and of course there's a merge there. Now, when you're coming around that roundabout, there are two lanes. Normally, you stay in the left lane if you're going to continue on Linford Pearson Highway, and you go in the right lane if you're going to go towards Jose's gas station. Of course, this white little compact vehicle squeezes right in front of me and a few other cars, all coming from the same direction, but for some reason, they must stay in the right lane. Now, again, had they just stayed in that line, there would be no interruption, no squeezing. That right lane over there is for when traffic is really backed up and you're unable to get into that left lane, that you can come over. So I continue driving down Huldah Boulevard onto the government administration building, turn in. When I'm turning in, who's in front of me? Same little white vehicle that squeezed in. Got to the automatic gate, and they used their pass, so obviously they work for government, and right ahead of me. So it goes to show you that, some people talk about the various nationalities driving bad, but you would think that, well, those persons who work for government, they're gonna do the right thing. This one, whomever it was this morning, didn't do the right thing, and it is unfortunate that I didn't get your license plate. Otherwise, I would be calling you out this morning. But you got away with it this time, but no doubt you will do it again, and I will be right behind you and record your license. I'll be right behind you and record your license plate number and out you for your aggressive driving as well. So, Those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday. And I got a Miss Vernice. She doesn't forget people's birthdays at all. And she has already called him this morning as well. Henny. He likes to be known as Henny Webster. In our old school days, in the 60s and the 70s, we referred to him as Percy. Percy. His real name is Henningston Webster, but I don't. I'm told that he may not like Henningston either, but he likes to be called Henny. And Henny is celebrating his birthday today. I believe 71 years old today. If I get the age wrong, I'm sure I'll be corrected about that. But so Miss Vernice Miles and her family wishing Henny a happy birthday today. Also Indel, Douglas, and Cara Dresdale. They're also wishing Henny a happy birthday. Also Miss Jane Ramon and her family. Henny, you got a lot of friends up there. Miss Jane, wishing you a happy birthday as well. Eileen Miles. Not Eileen. Baba, Miss Baba. What's her name, Doc?
Eileen.
Eileen. Miss Baba is wishing you a happy birthday as well. Also, Clifton Parsons, known as Bobo, wishing you happy birthday also. And then also Mr. Evan Dillon is celebrating a birthday today, and happy birthday greetings coming from his co-worker, Indel, and other co-workers as well. Then she also wants to wish Miss Joellen Smith, Joellen Ray Smith, belated happy birthday to her as well. So Miss Vernice has all of you covered this morning as far as birthdays are concerned. Henny Webster, also known as Percy, celebrating his birthday today, as well as Mr. Evan Dillon. We also have another birthday here this morning, and Mr. Donovan Ebanks, Donnie, wants to wish a happy birthday to his uncle, Mr. Lloyd Ebanks. Mr. Donnie shares with us that Mr. Lloyd is his dad's youngest brother, and he turns 96 today. And Mr. Donnie also advises us that he's as sharp as ever mentally and still gets around a little. And he's an avid reader and has never owned a pair of glasses. Isn't that amazing, folks?
Wow.
Isn't that amazing? 96 years old today, still mentally acute, an avid reader, and he has never owned a pair of glasses. What a man is blessed. He is blessed.
Yes.
He is blessed. So we want to wish all of those, Mr. Lloyd Ebanks, happy birthday, coming from Donnie, your nephew, as well. We had Mr. Henny, Percy Webster, and Miss Vernice Miles and her family, and all of the other families over in Scranton. We used to call it the East, over in the East area as well. For those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to express our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing as well. And you would have heard on Radio Cayman about the service for the late Mr. Benson Ebanks as well. Those of you who are ill and are at home or at a medical facility, we wish you a speedy recovery. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Chr, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. The beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson sitting there waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at For the Record, one word, For the Record at candw.ky. WhatsApp us 925-3261, and you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. This morning, we have in the studio a somewhat stranger to For the Record. I changed that this morning. Somewhat stranger to For the Record, but not a complete stranger. And when she's not in the studio, she will shoot us a WhatsApp message as well, and sometimes even call in. And that we have in the person of none other than Miss Theresa Pitcairn. Miss T, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record.
So, good morning, OC, and thanks so very much for inviting me this morning to have a conversation with yourself and the members of our community. I'd also like to thank the listening public for supporting your show and the willingness that they have to participate in the ongoing conversation that you have. So this morning, I'd like to shout out two women.
Okay, yeah.
Well, it's usually my mom, but this morning, two other women. And that would be Hannah Arendt. One of the first texts that I read when I was at university was called The Origins of Totalitarianism. And Hannah is a German philosopher. And it was the first paper that I wrote while I was at York, which actually set the tone for the way in which I responded for the years that I was there. And I thought of her these past weeks in the context of what was going on in the Ukraine and the Russians, because she was one of the first persons who developed that, I think it's the banality of evil, because she was really confused and couldn't understand how people could remain so passive in the face of a dictatorship. So she actually addressed that whole notion of authoritarianism and spoke to how that affected you and what tends to happen in situations where you have kleptocratic leadership and authoritarianism, and how people just give up and they just believe the lies, and even when they don't believe the lies, they just continue to exist. So I wanted to shout her out this morning because what she wrote in the last century, the middle of the last century, was still relevant in today's world. Okay. She literally called it out. The other thing that I'm going to get all excited and animated about is my girl Justice Brown Jackson. Yes. I mean, I was taking a shower this morning and I jumped out and I says, I got to capture these thoughts to share it with the public when I come on. And I'm not really good at delivering jokes, but here's what I wrote down in my phone. As she listened to some of the most bigoted and offensive statements, the disinformation and histrionics from grown folks who run the United States of America, she can't roll her eyes, she can't swivel her neck, she can't wag her fingers to convey her sass or her rage, knowing that she can't shame those two daughters that she got dressed to a T watching her, and she can't shame the public or her ancestors that gave her the perseverance to inhabit that space. So knowing she won't slap somebody eyelashes off, and knowing she won't to let off two bleep bleeps, instead, she brings Jesus into her neighborhood in her mind. She knows she has to be civilized she has to be the civilized adult in the room. She knows rage is risky. She can't let those fools steal her joy or superpower. So calmly, as if she was speaking to one of her 2-year-olds having a tantrum, she says, for example, to Senator Cruz, and you know the side eye, and you know the firing eyes, I know you were searching Twitter for mentions of your name. that's just a joke. She obviously didn't say that,
Yeah,
right?
yes, yeah.
But yeah, I just got to shout her out when she sat down and she withstood all of that turbulence from those idiots.
Yeah.
Her intellectual inferior, many of them. Shout out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now we have one black justice on the Supreme Court. Now, some may disagree with that, but I say we will have one black justice because I do not consider Clarence Thomas to be a black person. He's a man who objects to affirmative action. Mm-hmm. And when you object to that, you don't realize, what you're doing in that regard. So we're going to take a commercial break now. When we return, we're going to introduce Dr. Steve Macfield into the studio as well. And then by then we will be transitioning over to the 8 o'clock news, and then the conversation will continue. It's going to be extremely interesting this morning. So folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series. Brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
When the United States instituted prohibition between 1919 and 1933, the Cayman Islands utilized the opportunity under Commissioner Hutchings to build the treasury coffers by smuggling liquor through to the United States. In 1923, Hutchings persuaded the Assembly to pass Law No. 2 of 1923, which allowed free entry of all wines, spirits, and spirituous liquors, a mechanism which was used to turn the Cayman Islands into a storage site for liquor to be imported, stored, and subsequently exported for a fee as a means of revenue.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community, a traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Are you feeling sick, but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Thinking of getting a hybrid but don't know much about them? Vamp Motors has 3 great reasons why you should own the Toyota CHR. Hybrid save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries while being driven. So there's no need to plug in a hybrid, making it both economical and fun to drive. And you don't have to replace your battery every 2 years. The CHR Hybrid is reliable, providing up to 1 million kilometers on the same battery and engine. Oh, and now you can save $2,000 off the Toyota CHR, starting at only $33,500.
That's way more than 3 reasons.
True, but the best one is that it's on sale now. Test drive the Toyota CHR today at Vamp Motors, Walkers Road, while stocks last.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. My pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning Miss Teresa Pitcairn. Also with me, none other than Dr. Steve Macfield. Doc, good morning. Welcome back.
Good morning to you, Mr. For the Record, and good morning to all your friends in For the Record land and all the people in the Cayman diaspora and all those people who listen to you Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Good morning. It's like the old days again. We have Miss Pitcairn, Teresa Pitcairn, with us. It's like when you first started and you had your panel. The only person that's missing now is the Honorable Chris Saunders. Yes. Yes. Yeah, that was a formidable group of people.
Yeah.
He went on to other things. I don't know if at this point I can say greater things because it's still early. Yes, still early in the game. And in that game, you know, we have skin in that game too. We have a dog in that race because he came out of this panel. That was where he started here For the Record. And I remember in the old days when we used to have.
But he was politically active, you know, still before that.
Yes, yes.
He and I ran together.
Yes, so yeah, out of the game, Teresa and Chris ran together in Borden Town, and he kept on. As they say, he kept on keeping on, and today, you know, he's the deputy premier and minister of labor and minister of finance, and he has many portfolios in which he's in charge of. So For the Record, this program For the Record has done great things for some of us, and it keeps us still alive and relative. You know, here we are again on this Friday. Today is the 8th. Yeah, the 8th of February, and this is a formidable. I don't know if we'll be back here another Friday, but I wish we could, because I think that
whenever the opportunity arises, I will have you on.
Yes. So good morning again to you, and good morning to all you friends, and of course, yesterday was a sad. Not, I wouldn't say a sad day, but it was a disturbing day for me. To see that one of the great stalwarts, one of the great statesmen in this country was laid in state in the Legislative Assembly, and I was out by I went down by the Legislative Assembly just a couple of days ago, and I met he's not a colleague, he's a lawyer. He's from a different country, but he's not practicing law here. And he was asking me what the town hall building was for. Mm-hmm. And I was saying to myself, you've been here for so many years and you do not know what the town hall building is for? So I was trying to explain to him that it was the third venue for the Legislative Assembly in Cayman. The first venue was at Pedro St. James. Mm-hmm. Second venue was the old house now that the museum is in. Mm-hmm. And then it was that was the venue for Legislative Assembly. And it was also the place, it was a community center then. It was for everything, social and private functions. And I was saying to him, where the ceiling here is covered, it's covering one of the most beautiful piece of works.
Woodwork in
the world. Mm-hmm. And the carpet in this place is covering one most beautiful wood floors.
Yeah.
And I was saying to him, when I was young, they used to wax the floor so people could dance in it and so forth. And I says, there's a plaque here, but you can't find it. So to give a summary of what the building was for. There's a plaque in this building that was for, and it was the venue. And the reason why I think Sir Alden McLaughlin named it the
Constitution Hall
because it was the first place where we received our first Constitution in 1959.
Okay.
And it was the first place where we announced to become a Crown colony in 1962. And so this building is very significant. And I said, one of these buildings are in every district, in West Bay, Town. And I says, I added this to say my grandfather was one of the people who helped build this building.
Was that 1918?
No, 1939. I think it was, when the building was. I can't remember the year it was built, but I know the library was built also.
Yep.
And in succession, and the post office was built. Mm-hmm. And all of those buildings was built. And so yesterday when I saw this great man lying in state, it bothered me in a sense that one of the great patriarchs of this country has now left us, and as I keep referring to this, that he was one of the great architects of the law that protected our rights and our freedoms and our chances in life. Because when we emerge from the place where nobody, what do you call it again? The place that time forgot, and now the place that everybody remembers, even the oligarchs from all over the world remembers now with all the millions.
That's funny, Steve.
It's very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Oh, geez,
okay, so we have about a minute left on there before we go to our break. Don't have enough time to talk about this article in the Gleaner about we only have 1 minute, so I don't think it makes sense to start that. But there is a
and we'll see. Let's talk too about how Jamaicans going to deal with that,
mm-hmm,
because
mm-hmm,
I want to
mm-hmm.
see how they're going to respond. Because
Mm-hmm.
when those royal folks visited them recently, Jamaicans actually demonstrated how they really felt with authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see what Andrew Holness is going to do. Is he going to? Let's see how he's going to fly.
Mm-hmm. There was a terminology that he used there, and I wanted to use it in the Cayman context. He says, but my reach respectfully goes beyond that idea about the Privy Council.
Mm-hmm.
I earnestly believe that as a formerly enslaved people, being fully aware of our true history, it is a show of self-respect and a spirit of we can do it too. And I wanted to say that term, show of self-respect, it is my opinion that we here in the Cayman Islands do not have that show of self-respect because we are satisfied in being mired in the old system, the old colonial system, and not looking to uplift ourselves and remove ourselves from that environment. We're not showing respect to ourselves. We're not showing respect to those who came before us, and we're not showing respect to our future generation who rely on us to set the ground rules and the standards, for us to
but let's also
demonstrate that
why,
self-respect.
And explain why.
Definitely, yes. Top of the hour, folks. 8 o'clock news. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now by Foster's is 8 o'clock.
This Easter, make it all about eating better with Foster's.
Make it easy with our all-new Easter dinners, prepared fresh by our deli team.
First, choose your main from Escovitch snapper, Cayman-style beef, maple glazed ham, and smoked jerk pork shoulder.
Then customize it with your choice of sides and desserts. Plus, every order comes with dinner rolls and coleslaw.
And the best part? All you need to do is serve and enjoy.
Order yours online from $94.99 at fosters.ky/Easter.
This Easter, make it Foster's. Better because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
In the bulletin board, Colorado State University has issued their seasonal forecast for the upcoming hurricane season. Hazard Management Cayman Islands says it calls for another above-average season with 19 named storms. Last year was the third busiest hurricane season on record, and 2020 produced the most named storms ever recorded. Additionally, for the past 7 years, a storm has formed just prior to the official start of the hurricane season, which starts on June 1st. The Cayman Islands government has established a Russia sanctions joint task force. Radio Cayman's April Cummings has more.
Since the Russian invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, more than 800 asset freeze designations of individuals and entities have been enforced in the islands. In compliance with obligations under the Russian Sanctions Overseas Territories Order, numerous financial service providers have submitted more than 400 compliance reporting forms, confirming assets with an estimated value of U.S. $7.3 billion have been frozen. The primary purpose of the new task force is to provide centralized discussions and decisions around policy and communications arising from the ongoing sanctions targeting Russia because of its military actions in Ukraine. The task force is chaired by the director of the Financial Reporting Authority, R.J. Berry, with the Cabinet Office as task force coordinator. Comprised of representatives from a wide range of agencies, the task force aims to coordinate, identify, and implement policy amendments to implement the Russia sanctions, which impact the work of multiple agencies throughout the Cayman Islands government. April Cummings, Radio Cayman News.
And 32 new Caymanian officers have joined the Cayman Islands Customs and Border Control Service, the latest recruitment class to date. The new recruits are currently being rotated through various sections of the service as they undergo their initial on-the-job training until the CBC officer basic training course begins. CBC received some 500 applications during the most recent recruitment process. In regional news, the United States has sharply increased the number of Ukrainians admitted to the country at the Mexican border, even as more refugees fleeing the Russian invasion follow the same circuitous route. A government recreation center in the Mexican border city of Tijuana grew to about 1,000 refugees Thursday. A canopy under which children played soccer only 2 days earlier was packed with people in rows of chairs and lined with bunk beds. Tijuana has suddenly become a final stop for Ukrainians seeking refuge in the United States, where they are drawn by friends and families ready to host them and are convinced the U.S. will be a more suitable haven than Europe. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Debbie Russ. A missile strike on a railway station packed with civilians escaping the fighting in eastern Ukraine has killed at least 39 people. The mayor of Kramatorsk, where the suspected Russian attack took place, said 4,000 people were at the station at the time. Russia has denied responsibility. The governor of Ukraine's northern Sumy region says the military has regained full control there. He said Russian forces had left, but warned residents against returning before mines were cleared. The UN says the war in Ukraine has helped push food prices to their highest level since records began 60 years ago. The price index of the UN Food and Agriculture Organization rose by more than 12% between February and March. China's leader Xi Jinping has praised the country's zero-COVID strategy, even as Shanghai reported a new daily record of 21,000 cases. Speaking at an event about the Beijing Winter Olympics, Mr. Xi said some athletes had suggested China should win a gold medal for its approach to COVID. Dozens of civil society organisations have called for more to be done to end the violence against civilians in Africa's Sahel region. Military efforts have struggled to prevent jihadist groups from gaining strength there. Ethiopia says it has repatriated over 100 children from Saudi Arabia. The move comes after reports said that migrant workers and their children had been held in squalid conditions after being arrested. Mourners in northern Iran have gathered for the burial of a second Shiite Muslim cleric killed in a suspected jihadist attack. Sadegh Darai died from stab wounds on Thursday. In Britain, a man has been jailed for a minimum of 36 years for murdering a schoolteacher in a park in London last September. The killing prompted vigils across Britain and calls for greater action to protect women from violence. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com. Did you know that ValueMed Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with ValueMed. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. ValueMed on Walkers Road or Town. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
Attention parents and guardians. Any child who is 5 years old by 31st August must be enrolled in an approved educational program, including government, private, or homeschooling program. Registration for the 2022-23 academic year begins on 1st April. Applications received before 1st April will not be considered. Detailed students' registration guidelines and forms are available on the Department of Education Services website at www.schools.edu.ky or by emailing edu.registration@gov.ky.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning, everyone. Hello? Hello? Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Okay, I see we have just about everyone, and of course Tom drops off, as per usual. Let's just wait a minute here. He always comes right back, and we're almost ready, and... oh, whoever's dog that is, please go on mute. Why won't it let me share my screen? Okay, looks like we're ready to start.
We're like a video conference with no technical issues. CG Britcay. Good like that.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 81 degrees. Relative humidity is 85%. The barometric pressure, 29.96 inches and rising. The winds are calm. Overnight low temperature was 79 degrees. Synopses indicate light winds and slight seas are expected across the Cayman area today as a cold front moves over the northwest Caribbean by tonight. Isolated showers are expected tonight into early tomorrow morning, as the front is expected to move across the Cayman Islands. Satellite images show a few low-level clouds over the Cayman area moving towards the west. Now the forecast for today calling for partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers, and temperatures will be in the upper 80s. Winds will be light and variable, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Tonight, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 40% chance of showers, and temperatures will fall to the mid-70s tonight. Winds will be east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Today's low tide will occur this morning at 11:28, high tide again this afternoon at 3:50, and a low tide tonight at 9:52. The sun will set this evening at 6:40 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:13. And the outlook is calling for fresh northeasterly winds and rough seas expected from tomorrow morning as a high-pressure system builds behind the cold front.
8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Head east on Cove Road. Sharp left on Church Street. Sharper left. No, your other left. Did I say left? No, you missed it. Okay, I'm lost.
With money-saving bundling options for home and motor, we're like a GPS that doesn't steer you wrong. CG Britcay. Good like that.
Let's stop and ask for directions.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look what's happening on our roads. Traffic is busy coming from the east on the Linford-Pearson Highway. Bumper to bumper traffic. Also coming off of the Linford-Pearson Highway on Agnes Way. Traffic busy heading to Georgetown on Crew Road. And coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, traffic is also busy. A lot of patience needed this morning as you're heading down to Georgetown. Coming off the Esterly Tibbetts Highway, also busy. And on Northtown Road, steady traffic. On the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moderate in both directions. As we look to Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue, traffic is flowing moderately, and traffic flowing at a good pace on Shedden Road, Edward Street, light to moderate traffic flow, and traffic is light on Owen Roberts Drive. And that's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. We'll give you another traffic report.
Subway is serving up a special new sauce, bursting with flavor in every bite. The new Savory Collection is a tropical sweet and spicy sauce made with a combination of spices, habanero peppers, thyme, onion, black pepper, ginger, citrus juices, and molasses.
So good. Wow. Sensational. Delicious.
Subway's Savory Collection pairs perfectly with our oven roasted chicken or steak sub. Savor the flavor. For a limited time, only at Subway. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by CG Britcay. Insurance, health, pensions, life, where people come first.
It's in our name. Fried chicken, it's our thing. Others may try, but we have the original. We put the extra and extra crispy. And our secret in everyone's mouth. So if we want to make the best chicken sandwich, we just need to put our name on it. New Kentucky Chicken Sandwich. An abundant triple-breaded filet, premium mayo and pickles, all in a buttered brioche bun. The best chicken sandwich had to be KFC.
For the Record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the Record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning Miss Theresa Pitcairn and Dr. Steve Macfield. So, folks, look like I shook the tree.
Yes.
One of our listeners has written and said, OC, I know you know better. Clarence Thomas is black. That is what they want us to do. Divide us and rule. Do you ever hear any white person saying Trump or Biden is not white? Remember when Biden said that if you supported Trump, you ain't black? The black activists came out against him. OC, you are a good man. Don't let politics and wokeness let you condemn your own. Remember Malcolm, Martin, Stokely, Huey, Angela. Do you remember the history of the Dems towards black people? Yeah, at that point in time, it was the Republicans who were against slavery and everything else. But all of that changed. That all changed eventually. But my views in terms of Clarence Thomas, and he sits in a position where he could be a swing vote on certain issues, but I have not seen yet what that man has done to advance the importance and the future of black people in the United States of America. One need not look any further than his Senate confirmation hearings and what Anita Hill was put through during that period of time. And again, my main opposition to him and the reason that I don't take to him is because of the stance that he has taken against affirmative action in the United States. When you bring a people from being enslaved, treated as chattel, not given the opportunity for an education or anything else, how can you expect them to start at a level playing field? It just isn't there. And we're going to talk some more about that. I'm going to ask my guests here to contribute to that as well. But we do have a few callers, so let's grab the callers first, folks. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, good morning, OC.
Hey, good morning, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. Good morning to your panel, Mr. Risa and Dr. Steele.
Good morning, Mr. Moxham. How are you?
Not too bad, sir. Yes, Dr. Steve and to Mr. Pitcairn. I have a question that I would like to hear answers from both of you. You understand? And the question is, the newly appointed ombudsman, Ms. Ralston, what would be her primary role in being in that position? And I'll just hang up and listen to you all. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for that caller. Please make a note of that so that we can answer that. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC.
Hey, morning. How are you doing, my friend?
Mr. Belay.
Fine, thanks. A special good morning, of course, to Ms. Teresa, who has been missing for a little while.
Yes.
And of course, Dr. Steve is also there. Now, when the two of them are on and you have them on, I want to speak less because I want to listen more, but I'll try to be very brief. Regarding the Clarence Thomas issue, I understand fully, OC, where you are coming from, and I support that statement. I think the way to summarize it is to say this. when Bush 41 had a chance to appoint a justice after Thurgood Marshall died, he wanted a black face but without a black perspective. And Clarence Thomas fitted the bill. That's the short story of it. But secondly, Dr. Steve, I promised to get back to you about the Canadian Association of Black Lawyers.
Yes.
Yes, and as you rightly said, they're on Toronto Street, and I got in touch with them. I've subscribed to their emailing list, and I hope that I can join later on as a part-time academic, since I'm a part-time academic. So thanks very much for that information. I followed it up. Now, also, I just want to thank some people who called. I did mention last time that I was working on a book to deal with some controversial judicial issues and behavioral issues relating to judges. A number of people, again, have responded. I just want to thank those people for responding, and just to repeat that I'm doing a book on controversial issues in the judiciary, and anybody who has a case that they want to be discussed, they can get in touch with me on 928-2644. Lastly, Ketanji Jackson. Ketanji Brown Jackson, we had a historic confirmation yesterday, and I think we are all rightly excited about it. But the question that I ask is this: why aren't we asking the same questions about representation on the courts in Cayman?
Yes,
okay?
yes.
Both in terms of sex, in terms of nationality, and all those things. So I hope that as you discussed today, I'll of course keep listening. I hope that you can touch on that as well. Although both of you are lawyers as guests.
Yeah, two officers of the court right here.
Yes, and very well qualified to talk on that issue. Otherwise, thanks very much. I'll keep listening.
Thank you very much, Billy, for that. You stay safe as well. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, gentlemen, of Mr. Connor and Mr. Dr. McPhail and my good lady, Teresa.
Good morning.
Mr. Ebanks.
Happy Friday. I enjoyed a good colloquy a few days ago when I called in with Dr. McPhail, and I have one again this morning. But before I do that briefly, I just wanted to touch on the bureaucracy. I am trying to start. They have it, Dr. McPhail, I'm sure, probably Teresa and yourself, OC, would know. In Hyde Park in London, they have a Speaker's Corner. I'm trying to start a Speaker's Corner in our Heroes Square. And under the auspices, of course, working in conjunction with my Toastmasters Club, because it is going to be a public speaking sort of a initiative. No charges, just a little small platform. People get up. There'll be rules, of course. No cursing and no threatening and nothing against the government or the Queen. And I made a proposal. I sent an email to the police. The police said, "Listen, I have nothing." The commissioner said, "I have nothing against it. I think it's a good idea." He then copied a few people within government. The thing has landed at the protocol office, and I don't know why. At first, it went to Mr. Lumsden at the Georgetown Revitalization Committee, which I agreed that he would have some input. He didn't seem to have much input, but it landed at the protocols office. And I can tell you, it is not moving from there. And for the life of me, I don't know why a simple idea like which could attract some tourists as well, but it'd be a popular little place for people to get up and have a little speak during the day. I'm sure it'd be a popular initiative. But the amount of bureaucracy to have something free, which is something that if you go to London, you'll see it there in Hyde Park. It's a very popular thing. For the life of me, I don't know.
So why did you feel that you needed to have permission to get out there and have your say?
Well, I just wanted to make sure that I didn't need any license or whatever. So I went to the trade license department. They had nothing. They said no. We have no reservations. And there's no license to obtain. I went to the police to make sure there was no license. No, you don't need no license from us. And then he copied when the commissioner replied to me in my first name. He copied a few people, including Mr. Lumsden and stuff like that, and Mr. one of the officers who then brought in Mr. Lumsden, and then he mentioned about the protocols office, but he also copied them, and And everybody except the protocol office has said, go ahead and do it. But
I would go ahead and do it. I believe that you have satisfied all of the queries that you have in relation to whether or not you're required to have any permit. Of course, that is a public place where you that you're talking about. You know.
But the little small area that I want to join with some colloquy for 1 minute with Dr. McPhail, like how we did a few days ago, is I'm back to parking in Georgetown. We have to realize, or we should reach some sort of agreement that we realize that Georgetown is our only capital. It's our capital city. We need to have something done about finding adequate and quick parking in Georgetown. And I know, Mr. O.C., you have this position, and I have it as well, utopian position where, what about public transport? What about this and that? Those are good ideas, and those are ideas that will come in time. I think there's no push. If we want to have public transport, the government could have had it in place years ago. That will come in its time, but I'm talking about parking in town right now. Town is our capital, and it's a dying city because people are not coming in to town to do any business because you cannot find any parking. And I'm saying that old tower building where they just made temporarily into the farmers market, some sort of marriage could be found there, that you can have a little space for the farmers market, but you can also have about 200 parking spaces.
Totally disagree with you on that. We have too many cars in central Georgetown already.
Yes.
We don't need any more. We don't need to encourage anymore. We need to find alternative transportation once you get on the fringes of Georgetown.
Well, we have to find a place outside of town where people can park.
Yeah.
Like Disney World, and then have them trucked into central town. But again, I think that Dr. McPhail, you can join in. But again, that must be a government initiative.
Yeah.
Because I do not see it happening privately.
Well, it could be a PPP, public-private partnership, that I have been advocating all along, because it's not a place where you're gonna. It's not like a developer who puts in $200,000 for a bill for his condominium and gets $400 and sells it for $500,000 and make $250,000 profit on it. That's not the kind of business it is. You're not going to make your profit right away. You're going to make your profit over the long haul, but it's the services that you're providing. So it seems to me that the only how that's going to happen, there has to be a public-private partnership. Even public transportation is going to have to be a PPP, public-private partnership between the government and private sector. And I concur with Mr. For the Record. I think that there are lots of properties out on the outskirts of Georgetown that can be utilized to have a depot where people can park, and then and then buses can take them into the city center. In fact, when I left the NRA, they had a plan and a proposition for that, and I think Mr. Howard can be, if you get him on the radio here or you call him, he can show you what they envisage for Georgetown. You see, because those things don't make a lot of money right away, people are not going to put that facility down, and that is a tragedy because in other cities, and by the way, I heard that there was some move to make Georgetown into a city, to have city status.
Yes, I heard that too. Yes.
Well, if that happened, then you would have a city council and you would have a mayor and all that sort of stuff and things like that. Maybe if that came, they would do something like that. But I don't think we're that advanced yet, George. Okay. We were not thinking in those terms now.
Okay, George, your final point before we go to our commercial break.
No. I have no final point. I want to wish you all a very happy Friday and a happy weekend. And if you could touch on that speaker's corner, if necessary,
Well, you know, I would say, you know, get your soap box.
Yes.
You know, we don't have the days now where, remember when you used to get the drink, the sodas came in those wooden crates from Mr. Eden's bottling, you know, factory out there. But get someone to make a nice big box for you, maybe with a step on it, and you take it and you go, you carry it out there. You make sure that it is mobile. And you start talking.
And there's precedent for that too, because in the old days, people would meet by the breakwater, and they would meet by Webster's shop, and they would meet by Yankee Ocean shop here on the corner there. They would talk.
Exactly. Yep. Okay, my friend. You take care. Please stay safe. We're going to take a commercial break. We do have other callers on hold. As soon as we return, we will take your calls. So please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
JN Money, money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use your money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
It's Chr Freeport's 50th anniversary, and we're celebrating with you. If it's your 50th birthday in 2022, we have a $50 gift card for you. If you're celebrating your 50th wedding anniversary or higher, it's $500. We'll also donate $50,000 to charities and increase the rewards for store purchases too. Purchases of $500 will receive branded gifts, while purchases of $100 gain entry into our monthly sweepstakes with prizes from luxury brands. View terms and conditions on ChrFreeport.com.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Ms. Teresa Pitcairn, Dr. Steve Macfield. We have 4 callers queued up. Of course, we're going to accommodate all of the callers first. Those persons who have called already and are seeking responses, stay tuned because those responses will come as well, but we don't want to keep people waiting too long on the telephone lines as well. So let's go to the phone lines. 4 callers. Need I say any more? First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, you're so funny.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Mr. Connor. Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Go right ahead.
Yeah. For the last couple of months, I've been noticing that the children there at Prospect Primary School is waiting outside the gate before they are allowed to come into the gate to go to the school.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just try to, if you could figure out what's going on with these little young preschool kids, not preschool, elementary kids that go into to the school that is sitting outside every morning. There's some sitting on the side of the little cement waiting to go in, and there's a few cars there. I'm quite sure some of those cars is running, and the kids are inhaling all that.
And what time of the morning are you talking about?
I'm talking about 7:15, 7:20, 7:30. These kids are outside of the gate. It's been going on for months now up here at Prospect Primary.
Is that because parents or guardians are dropping them off that early?
Kids, all them schools get the kids kids early, Mr. OC.
So what would be a reasonable period of time for the schools to be open to actually accept children inside?
Well, see, as you know, parents have to go to work. I feel there should be someone on the ground to collect these children as security, or the teachers rotate to come to the school in the morning to collect these children so they can go into the compound and sit in the waiting area until it's time for school to begin, because the parents have to go to work. And the traffic is crazy. And these little kids are so young and sitting outside on the sidewalk on a soft piece of cement. And there's girls and boys, and there's a few cars parked up there waiting with their children. And I know they got their car running, and these kids are inhaling all this exhaust that comes from these vehicles. It's been going on for months now. It needs to be stopped. So I really people look into that with education and see why these kids are up that every morning waiting to go into the school compound and here at Prospect Primary.
Okay.
Alrighty.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. Hello?
Yes, go right ahead. We're hearing you.
Yeah. So the news this morning reported that there was a task force formed to deal with sanctions on Russia.
Yes.
And seemingly there's a large amount of money that was frozen, some amount of billions, as reported by the news. Now, I would caution the island. Let me say up front that I'm not in agreement with the war, and I would dare say even that this is way beyond our league. We can't do nothing to stop it. We didn't do nothing to start it. And when we go and put this task force in place and mash up their financial damage our financial services, then when this is over, the big boys are going to play. Their business is going to come back because Russia has to sell the natural resources to who is the largest consumers, and we're not one of them.
But you do realize that as a colony or an overseas territory of the United Kingdom, that whatever legislation that they have put in place, because their international obligations, we fall under their international obligations, that we then have to do the same here. So we don't have any option as to whether or not we do so.
Well, and this is why I say we have to be very cautious with this, because remember, we're competitors with the British in the financial services, and they are constantly looking for ways to mash up our business. And not in just this territory. There's the same thing in Tortola, the same thing in all the overseas territories where they compete against where we compete against them. So I'm just saying that we need to be very cautious how far we want to go with this, because at the end of the day, when this is all over, the big boys are going to play, and their business are going to come back. The question is where ours will be.
But sir, bearing in mind what Mr. For the Record has said, that we are an overseas territory, we are a colonial country, we have to abide by what the masters tell us, their international legislation applies to us, and so forth. What do you mean by we have to be very cautious?
Because I'm aware that the governor is, and this is my interpretation, I believe this will be driven by the governor's office, because it's an international affair, and that falls under his...
No, it's not an internal affair. It's an international affair.
No, he said international.
International.
Oh, yes.
Yes, and that falls under the governor's permit. And my thing is that he is the representative of the British whom we are competing with. So I'm saying that I understand the obligation where overseas territories find themselves, but I'm also saying that we have to be cautious how far we want to volunteer
But we don't have. We don't have any. We can't set the limits.
We can't set the limits.
The only way we can set the limits if we decide that we're going to become independent and act on our own.
That's right.
That's the only way. I was hoping that you were going down that road.
Yes,
that's the road that you were taking us there. Yes. But that's the only way, caller. That's the only way.
Well, you're correct, and I agree with you. But my thing is that, and as I said, we have to be very cautious how we volunteer our participation in this process.
It's not voluntary. It's not. We're not volunteering. It's a must.
It's a must.
You must do it. As a matter of fact, I was surprised. 1 minute call. I was surprised that we haven't brought legislation, because there were times when you actually have to go down to the legislature and enact legislation in accordance with what the UK, has done as well.
But that's the duality that we live with, and nothing will change unless folks are ready to become independent.
Yeah, unless we have that self-respect.
There you go. Yes, that we were talking about this morning.
Caller, I want to thank you very much for that. Very provocative, but yes, we get your point.
We get your point.
Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello, good morning, guys. Good morning.
Good morning.
But the lady there. Miss Sophie, what size brick did you throw this morning? You throw the block on. I think you can soon get charged with boulders now. So you're waking up everybody.
Yeah.
But you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Keep waking them up. They need to wake up.
Yep.
They've been sleeping for too long now. They're almost like they go on a coma for too long. I want to agree with the gentleman where we were talking about the parking in Georgetown and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like Mr. Martin said, yes, it needs to be it's probably going to be a public-private partnership, but just for a recommendation, the perfect thing to use our money is our pension. Our pension that is being set over to next man's country to make theirs better. That's a perfect fund to be used to get that up and going. And it will be at home. So when people, they might not make as fast money as they did, but it will be benefit our economy, and the money stay here and will make our situation better, because Georgetown is a disaster. Now we got conscious back again, or even worse. And we need to deal with it. We need to nip it in the bud. It's gone too far, and if we don't do it, we're destroying our economy worse than what we got now. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that, Ms. Susan. One more caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C., and good morning, Doc, and good morning, Mr. Risa.
Good morning,
sir. You were talking earlier when you came on about traffic and the car that was in front of you.
Yeah.
Overtook you. Well, I hear on the news, on the Cayman news as well, that the RCIP traffic department has started this initiative, I would call it, of speeders in the, I would say, the eastern side. I won't say Bordentown and Savannah. I just say the eastern side. Now, I picked up my granddaughter this week from school. And believe you me, every evening that I pick her up, I'm looking for a police car, because the speeders in the Savannah area is atrocious. So I don't know how they can come on the radio and say that they apprehended 60+ people for speeding in the school zones when you don't see them at the school zone.
Well, you would have to be. You will have to be at the school zone for 24 hours or whatever period of time that they're there to know that they're not there.
Yes. Yeah, but the thing is, you have certain times that these lights are flashing.
Right.
And they should be. How many? The traffic department is a joke. Because even on the Cool Road area, if you come out by where my office is in the evenings around anywhere from 3:30 to 4, you will see what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. There's no U-turn.
The U-turn, we talked about that on Wednesday. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's a joke. Let me put it that way, just a big joke.
Well,
anyway.
Well, caller, I've said previously on this show, and I say to you again, just changing the face in the traffic department is not going to help much. What we need is a dedicated highway department, a department of highways to regulate the traffic on the highways. A few people in the traffic department, adding a few persons is not going to help. We need a full traffic department with not only police cars but police motorcycles who can go in and out of traffic to keep the traffic moving and to keep and can keep observation drivers. Because what I have experienced in this island for the last 20 years is that when it comes on the road, the rule of law goes out the window. People just do not have any respect for the driving regulations and for the rule of law as far as it's concerned. It is a free for all, and it's dangerous sometimes when you come when you come on the road sometimes. What that called for serious enforcement of the traffic laws. Serious enforcement of the traffic laws. That is not happening.
Mm-hmm. But the police themselves are abusive with that. So, charity starts at home.
When Mr. Royal Anderson was in charge, and
that's my uncle. Of course,
yes.
Different breed
of people.
Different breed
with interest in their community. People who had the skin in the game and a dog in the fight.
That's right.
Okay. Caller,
you all take care.
Thank you very much for that. We're going to take a commercial break. Miss Susan, we still have how many callers do we have? One caller. We're going to take that call when we return, but I want, before we reach the headline news, to respond to the callers who had called earlier. Yeah, we want to give an opportunity to explain about the Peace Memorial, the Town Hall, the Ombudsman, and everything else. So, folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Thinking of getting a hybrid but don't know much about them? Vant Motors has 3 great reasons why you should own the Toyota CHR. Hybrids save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries while being driven. So there's no need to plug in your hybrid, making it both economical and fun to drive. And you don't have to replace your battery every 2 years. The CHR Hybrid is reliable, providing up to 1 million kilometers on the same battery and engine. Oh, and now you can save $2,000 off the Toyota CHR, starting at only $33,500.
That's way more than 3 reasons.
True, but the best one is that it's on sale now. Test drive the Toyota CHR today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road, while stocks last.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
Your Radio Cayman 6 p.m. news, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Logic. Your life connected.
For the record, with Chr.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Chr continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, Ms. Teresa Pitcairn, Dr. Steve Macfield. Doc has stepped out for a minute. He'll be back in the studio. We're going to take the caller that we promised. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, O.C.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. How are things over in that your neck of the woods?
Beautiful, beautiful weather. Good morning, Miss Teresa.
Morning.
And morning to Dr. Steve, although he stepped out.
Yeah, coming back.
This morning is really good. I'm getting my breakfast of education. I love it. I really love it. No, so see, I heard that we received some of the Russian money.
Yes.
Okay. 7-something billion or something like that, right? See, I'm a latecomer in the campaigning, but I listened to Mr. Bowe and them from years ago, 20 years ago. If the Cayman Island government was taking 1/4% out of that money, the way that the Caymanian, indigenous Caymanian, could be living like how they up in the Emirates, they could be living like royalties. But it's something wrong with our way of thinking. And you know something, I really can tell you what it is. We come from the catboat to the computer too fast, my friend. All the damn money that's going through there. And we the poor Caymanian got big to get a little scholarship for the people that want to go to school. If you don't want to, you can't do nothing about that. But it's really a shame what really going on. And I will see.
Well, before you go, what the people in the private sector, especially the financial services industry, I can't see them encouraging government to try to in any way put a levy on the transactions that go through here, because their argument is going to be, oh, it's, you're going to run the clientele. They're not going to want to pay more. They will never tell the government how the government can go about making money, because they're in the money-making business themselves. They don't want government competing with them in terms of their profit margins. So I'm not sure that there are many financial services industries that will say to government, here is a way for you to raise revenue from our clients. I'm not even sure whether or not that would be a conflict of interest, Mr. Reese, for him to say that. But,
and sir, a gentleman who's now deceased was the first person that I heard had made a proposal of how the government could get money from the transactions that are happening here, all the money that's passing through. And that was a gentleman called Jim Borden II.
Okay. Andre Ayton also submitted a number of proposals about how we can actually make some money as well.
1/10 of 1% of a dollar would bring us millions of dollars a year. 1/10 of 1% of a dollar.
There hasn't been any appetite to do, but then again, the fact of the matter is, we don't invest in our own people. And, someone said to me yesterday, you should take a belt to the average Caymanian, because they sit down, vote in the same folks who they know have no interest in investing in them. So they ask, so I don't know.
Caller, still there?
Yeah, but see, if we had the right minded politician, because let me tell you something, those big bankers, those CEOs that living on those beautiful canals, get fishing, the children can walk up and down free, they ain't paying no tax. They ain't making them money go anywhere, because they don't want to go anywhere. And that's the cold hard truth, my friend. Cold hard truth.
Okay. Thank you very much, my friend. Stay safe as well. So, Ms. Susan, we're going to cut off those phone lines now until the headline news. So, Ms. T, you're going to cover the Ombudsman, the Office of the Ombudsman?
Yeah, I'll just be really brief, though. It's essentially designed to ensure that citizens have certain rights. It's all about accountability. We have the rule of law. We know that we have legislation, for example, that we seldom enforce if they're sensitive to some persons. So what the Ombudsman's role is to ensure that we have accountability for public authorities. So you want to ensure that, citizens have their rights. And I told OC what I would do is just use layman's term to talk about it, because it's all about enforcement of the law. I know of a situation where someone submitted certain requests to one of the former ombudsman, and it was a legitimate complaint. And the ombudsman essentially took the role that, look, this is not going to go anywhere because it's too sensitive. So the real challenge the current ombudsman is going to have is being able to make authentic, real representation on behalf of the people, because that's what that office is supposed to represent. And the question is whether she will have the courage to do that. Because when certain folks come up and say, look, this is not something that we want to deal with, will she be sufficiently independent and enforce the law and do what is right for the community?
Sure. And on their website it says the ombudsman is an impartial and independent office of Parliament that acts as the Cayman Islands guardian of fairness, transparency, and accountability. Some of the things that they handle, police complaints, freedom of information. If the government has refused to disclose records you requested, you may appeal the decision to the Office of the Ombudsman. We will hear your appeal and decide whether the records should be disclosed. In relation to government complaints, if you are dissatisfied with a government decision or feel you were not treated fairly and you have tried to resolve the matter through the government's internal complaints process unsuccessfully, you may make a complaint to our office. They deal with whistleblowing, data protection. Also, it says being investigated. If we receive a complaint, disclosure, or appeal, we will inform you as soon as possible. We will provide you with details about the issue, and you will have an opportunity to provide a detailed response as well.
So you want to balance the interest of the citizens against the public authority.
Yes.
So after disclosing all that, then, Mr. For the Record and Ms. Piscarian, after disclosing all that and the role of the ombudsman and the impartiality that he has to abide by, who pays his salary? Who's responsible for his salary?
The people of the Cayman Islands in general, but
yes, but what department?
I think it's is it the Parliament?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think the finance department must be is a part of that payroll.
Yeah, but the ultimate importance of the comment that you just make is that this is a government-driven payment payroll section for the but ultimately it's us, the people.
Yeah, but you see where I'm going.
Of course, I know.
Here's the Piper calls that you want.
But this is why citizens have to pay attention. They have to hold people accountable.
But this is an independent,
supposed to be
not answerable to anyone other than the Parliament to a certain extent as well. But we'll try to find more about that. Let us share the information in relation to the town hall as well. Mm-hmm. So and the peace memorial. So the town hall on 4th Street was built in 1923 by Captain Rail Borden. It was initially built, like Dr. Macfield said, to serve a number of purposes, including a courthouse, assembly room, and town hall. For many years, this was the center of community life in Georgetown. And then, of course, we have the clock tower. That the clock tower was built in 1937 in memory of Queen Elizabeth, who's the granddaughter of George V as well. So that's the information on that part of it. What else can we share? We have about 3 minutes before Miss. You received some WhatsApp messages as well. What's some of the things that people want us to talk about? We've seen the Canadian the decision there where Canada is considering restriction on property ownership. And some of our listeners want us to talk about that as well.
Yeah, that was one text that I got asking about the finite nature of land in Cayman and whether or not we're going to develop legislation to introduce leasing land rather than selling land out, especially to foreign folks. That was one question. And the other one, I wasn't sure. I was sharing it with OC. It says the person was saying a few weeks ago, Doc mentioned that the road was going around the horses because the property was expensive to purchase, so we were going through the next door. He did mention that he wasn't sure, but so this person is writing a follow-up text based on a conversation you may have had about property being commandeered and in the context of the value of property as well.
Bob Thompson area. Okay, one of our listeners, I can share this very quickly, has shared with us, and they say that an officer is by the Savannah Primary School every morning. Lots of persons have been pulled over in that area, almost on a daily basis as well. So I want to thank that person who shared that information with us as well. Ms. Susan, you ready for me yet? So, folks, when we return from the headline news, we're going to open those phone lines up again. We want to talk about property ownership in the Cayman Islands, what is being contemplated in Canada as well, because we know that is extremely important here in the Cayman Islands. Sometimes things come back to bite us. When we first introduced permanent residence in the Cayman Islands, I remember when the investment was $150,000 in investment in property in the Cayman Islands. So we were encouraging people to invest. Now that our population has gotten larger, now that we have become even more divisive, now that we're having more and more gated communities that people want to stay within their own little cocoon and remain there as well. We're seeing the pressures being placed on property ownership. And oh my God, folks, don't even mention the prices. Let's not even go there in terms of the prices that we're seeing for properties on the market as well. So, top of the hour, headline news. When we return, conversations will continue. Phone lines will be open. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Government reported 82 cases of COVID-19 for Tuesday and Wednesday. There are 621 estimated active cases of COVID in the Cayman Islands. 2 patients are currently hospitalized. The 7-day rolling average for April 7th is 44. Ukraine says at least 39 people are dead and dozens wounded after rockets hit a train station in the city of Kramatorsk in eastern Ukraine. Thousands of people were at the station at the time as they tried to flee Russian attacks. Russia denies involvement in the strike, with a Kremlin spokesman saying it had no scheduled missions in the area. Russia is believed to be stepping up its offensive in the Donbas region of eastern Ukraine as it withdraws from the north. Cities in Donbas have come under heavy Russian attacks overnight, with residents sheltering in basements. The UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson is meeting the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz for talks and will give a joint news conference later today. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Chr.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Chr continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Any callers on hold? No callers on hold at this point in time. Ms. T, do you have that any information, an article on in relation to the decision on property ownership in Canada?
No.
Okay. I'll share this one. This one is from Bloomberg News. It says Canada will ban most foreigners from buying homes for 2 years, right? And provide billions of dollars to spur construction activity in an attempt to cool off a surging real estate market. The measures will be contained in Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland's budget on Thursday, according to a person familiar with the matter, asking not to be named because the matter is private. The move signals the that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is becoming more assertive about taming one of the developed world's most expensive housing markets, and that the government is growing more concerned about the political backlash to inflation and the risk, the rising cost of housing. So again, just to summarize, their questions has their concern has more to do with the rising cost of housing in Canada. Here in the Cayman
and
Islands,
the higher taxes as well.
Yeah. Here in the Cayman Islands, our concern has to do with that, the higher cost of housing as well. But the mere fact that indigenous Caymanians run the risk of being closed out of the housing market, and we believe that what government is doing, government cannot, while they're doing it in an honest and earnest fashion, they cannot keep up with the demand that's going to be placed on them. I'm going to turn the mic over to you.
You know what? The comment that I was going to make was that there are many youngsters now who recognize this, and they recognize that their interest in living here, because they're not going anywhere else to live, although many are now immigrating to the UK, they have to be organized and hold the government accountable and ensure that steps are taken to ensure that they have an opportunity to buy property going for. I spoke to some parents the other day. Their daughter is home and she's just she recently graduated, wanted to buy some property. When she went and looked, you're talking like 500, 600, 700. She don't want to rent. She's a professional and she wants to buy her own home. So the parents said they now have to they have to mortgage their home to ensure that their daughter can buy an apartment. And it's just an apartment, not like it's a big yard with a big space or anything like that. Cayman, we just can't continue to sit down, be passive and say nothing and hope and pray that Jesus is going to come here and solve this problem for us. We have to take responsibility for our own future, especially our youngsters.
Well, Canada is facing a problem similar to us because the foreigners are buying up the property in Canada. All the rich people from all over the world, all the money, the oligarchs and all the people have been buying the property from the 1990s, and the property market has escalated to such an extent that an average Canadian cannot afford to buy a house now. They cannot afford to buy a property. They cannot afford to buy an apartment,
But Steve, the same way the Canadian government is taking steps to cool down this market, it's the same way in which Caymanians can.
But we're not doing that because do you know that in our immigration transition law that you can get the maximum points. You can get maximum points for property ownership if the property is $500,000. If you invest $500,000 in a property, you get the maximum points. So there's no coincidence why nearly every medium apartment in Cayman is $500,000 or $400,000 or more. You see what has happening? See what has happened? So because the Immigration Transition Law 2021 revision says that you get maximum points for investment in property or company, and if you invest a sum of $500,000, you get maximum points. So those people now, developers, are putting their apartment for $500,000 and more
because they know that you have to.
Because they know that you have to get that. You get maximum points for that.
So what's the answer? How do we address that?
You do what
issue?
Canada is doing. You cool down this runaway development. You cool down this runaway market, and you say we are not going to allow people to invest in these properties outside of Cayman for a while until Caymanians can be able to catch up, because they'll not catch up, and then.
But that means then that we have to change the point system, because if the point system for permanent residents is geared in such a way that the major emphasis is placed on property ownership, then that is exactly where our problem lies.
Exactly. You're completely right. And there's no coincidence that the government has now formed a task force to look into housing for Caymanian people. It's like Canada went ahead and have a moratorium. We went ahead and have a task force to see how we are going to lower housing costs and how we're going to build houses for local Caymanian people. So we're almost parallel to each other, except for the fact that Canadians went ahead
and put a stop
to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Ms. Susan, we have a caller on hold. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Connor. Good morning, Mr. Matthew. And good morning, Ms. Pitcairn.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So in terms of the traffic issue, first and foremost, why aren't we capitalizing on our retired police force who could donate an hour to 2-3 hours running the beat? They know that, like, we have Inspector Courtney Miles, he knows how Cayman works. I don't know if he'd be willing to do that, but why haven't we created a quasi board where it really looks at what have really been the issues in Cayman as it pertains to traffic offenses, certain offenses? How do we zero in on mitigating, certain issues that come up each year?
Well, if I may interrupt you there for a second, I think in the previous government, Member of Parliament, then Mr. Austin Harris, was chairing a committee looking into that. Of course, administrations change, and I believe before the change, we never got a report, a comprehensive report from that committee in terms of what their recommendations were, and it hasn't gone any further than that.
Well, that's a shame, because it's going to be a detriment to the local population. On that, the driving has become a bit atrocious. I will say that the police presence has been an uptick, but consistency is the key to the pudding as it pertains to really mitigating certain elements. Now, when it comes to housing, Mr. Connor, Dr. Steve, and Mrs. Pitcairn, I'll tell you, when I was looking for a piece of property in a couple months ago in Grand Cayman, and I was going to a bank, the bank said, well, I had asked for a $30,000 loan, right? The bank said, we don't give out loans, for $30,000, which is not true, right? So I said, how much is the typical? $500,000, $600,000. I said, who? Not me. So I was just doing the land survey, of everything.
Were you a customer of that bank as well, of that financial institution?
I'm a customer of that bank in particular, but funny enough, it was the Cayman National Bank that was more willing to take me on than Scotiabank.
Okay.
Now, the thing is, go ahead, sir.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so the thing is, I hear what Dr. Steve is saying. I'm in Canada right now. I'm looking at property in Cayman, which I have been so graciously able to secure. But the truth and fact of the matter is, because I know he mentioned the point system, I wouldn't change the point system rather when it comes to land, but I would just say, if somebody got a piece of land and they are, obviously they wouldn't be Caymanian, look at other things on their application other than the piece of land. Now, that would be difficult because it is mandated by law that if the person has land...
Well, it says property as opposed to land. Property, investment in property.
Sorry, property specifically. So if the person has the property, obviously they have to get the full point system. But if we're always changing a little thing here, a little thing here, it kind of creates, well, from my opinion, a level of inconsistency. We're always changing. We always have to change based on the demand. I get that. But, with Canada's case, as in Cayman's case, there's an overinflation of people buying property, which creates the increased standard of living. And so, yes, Canada has tried to come down on the housing market, but that's a little too late. Everybody from West Vancouver coming up to the lower mainland have property. They're rich in property, but not cash flow. So the thing is, we're mitigating after the fact, which is okay. But we need the Cayman government to come in and say, listen, Caymanians first. It is not a bad thing. I will be the first young person to say Cayman first, because it is not a requirement, but it is more of prerequisite.
Okay.
You know, if we have young people going to UK, America, and Canada because they cannot get jobs in Cayman, they cannot get land in Cayman, how you think they're going to come? They're not going to come back because we know this is.
But they're not coming back. They're not coming back. That's the whole. That's the whole thing.
And that's the part of the
that's
problem.
That's the part of the problem. And sir, I saw in the paper here yesterday where we were able to bring in 30 Caymanians, young Caymanian people into the border control system. Did you see? Did you see that?
30 something. Yeah.
Yeah, 30 something. If they can do that in the border control, why is it that they can't recruit the same amount kind of people for the traffic department in Cayman to control the traffic in Cayman? But that bothers me. Why is it that Mr. What's this gentleman name again? Who is charged with border control?
Mr. Clifford.
Mr. Clifford can see that he needs all these people to control the flow in and out of our borders, and other people can see that we need people to control our traffic and stuff, and that they should hire young Caymanians and give them the tools and the vehicles and equipment to do that.
Okay. Caller, we have about 1 minute before we go to the break, so I want to give you an opportunity for some, for your final comments.
Yeah, well, what I'll say, is that, young Caymanians need to step up. I know when I talk to young Caymanians in high schools and I was presenting, most of them didn't want to work for the civil service because they're just afraid, or it's not an esteemed job. It is not a lawyer, right? It is not a doctor. It is not a banker.
Oh, right. You can have those professions and work for government too. Yeah.
Yes.
But I was telling them, I said, listen, we come from good Caymanian stock. We come from pioneers who used to go on these big ships and be captains. And I told them to listen. They wasn't the captain the first day they were there. They had to start in the boiler room. They had to start in the kitchen, and then they had to go to the officers thing, and then they became the captain. So I said, just like a captain who pioneers his course as a Caymanian, young Caymanian, whether you're in high school, you have to pioneer your course. And they're just very beaten up, to be quite honest. The young Caymanians in these high schools are just beaten up.
We have to give them. We have to give them more hope. We have to give them.
And yeah, so I said, you can be the police commissioner, you can be the chief fireman, you can be the chief, you could be the director of public prosecution, director of prisons. So it's an investment. You have to invest. So
thank you very much, caller.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. 1 minute over the time. Let's go to a commercial break. We do have callers queued up. We're going to accommodate every caller, so please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
JN Money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money, JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use your money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Parents and caregivers are the primary influencers in preventing underage drinking. When parents know the facts about underage alcohol use, they can protect their children from many of the high-risk behaviors associated with it. Parents who do not discourage underage drinking may have an indirect influence on young people's decision to drink. The NDC offers parents advice on how to talk to their children about underage drinking. For tips, log on to www.ndc.ky. This message was brought to you by the National Drug Council and Radio Cayman.
For the record, with Chr.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Chr continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're discussing so many important topics this morning, topics that impact you, the people of the Cayman Islands, and we want to give you an opportunity to have your say as well. We have 4 callers queued up. I'm going to ask everyone to please be considerate and recognize the fact that someone is waiting behind you as well. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Connor.
Go right ahead, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yes, good morning to you, to Dr. Steve, and to my fellow 77er there.
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay. I'll try to be as quick as possible, but my fellow 77er can tell you that brevity is not one of my graces. But anyway, here I go. Mr. Connor, to you first. I want to join you in saying, and I don't really care who this offends, concerning what you said about Karen Summer. Because you put it too nicely. And I'll use one single word, Oreo. Okay? So I stand by you in your comments. And the former President Bush there knew exactly what he was looking for. That's why he selected him. Remember, they both come from the South. Okay, moving on. Regarding this point system, property, raping, and hijacking, the two go together. As long as they're going to grant permanent residences or statuses, whichever one it is, or both, you're always going to have the hijacking of the property prices. All these people work in tandem. And remember, they're all working against us, the Caymanians. They have a goal, and that goal is to push all of us, if possible, out to the sea. That's why the prices have reached where they've reached. Some of these properties are not even worth what they're being sold for, but they know who they want to sell them to, and more importantly, why. So we need to put a stop to the granting of permanent residences, whatever it is you're applying for, that this is required. Put a stop to that, because one affects the other.
Yep.
I'll just remind you all of something. You remember when the Turtle Farm used to make all of their products and the tourists could buy it, because back then they could take it back to the States or wherever they came from? You remember what those prices were like? Mr. Connor, I don't know if you had come back to the island yet or not. Dr. Steve, I'm not sure where you were at the time. Well, what I can
what year would this have been?
Oh, this is going way back before the 80s.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, remember the U.S. had banned it from coming in there sometime in the 80s. And then other countries followed suit.
But yes.
Okay. So the point I'm making is, when the Turtle Farm could sell them to the tourists, the Caymanians were outpriced. We couldn't purchase anything there. We couldn't afford it. But once they couldn't sell it to the tourists anymore, the prices dropped tremendously, because they could only sell it to Caymanians. So I say that to say, if we put a stop to the granting of the permanent residences, or whatever it is these people are looking for, the prices in property will also come down, because the only people they'll have to sell it to will be the Caymanians. Okay. One thing affects the other. And Ms. D said something earlier on, which I'd also like to endorse and support, because I say it all the time. We as Caymanians, our government, we need to stop playing musical chairs with the people we elect. Find some people that can actually stand up with backbones And let's invest in our people first and foremost. And I will always use Jamaica as an example, because comparing their economy to ours, I think they deserve a couple of platinum medals, not gold medals. And I will give someone else a chance now.
Okay,
thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend. Be safe.
Yes, thank you very much, caller. You do the same as well. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Connor.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Good. This is Chr Lawrence speaking. Now, I had a lot of experience in this property market and understanding and investigation on what is taking place, right? And from my experiences, I don't think I have time to share all of it with you, but I'll give you a couple of snippets of what's happening here.
Okay.
We are of the perception, okay, that the prices are going up because of construction costs and all that other stuff, right? Okay? And, that's not really the case. And I'll explain to you why. We have no cap at all and no guidelines on how properties here on island are being valuated. Okay? So every valuator can give you a different valuation. Number two, we have no cap and no guidelines on real estate agents that are selling these properties.
We were just saying that.
We say that the break.
And they need a license carrier. By the way, Steve and I are here, not just OC, moving right along.
I'll explain something to you now that I know for a fact. Okay? You have companies out there that are delving in real estate that will see properties coming up on the market as in apartment blocks, and they will put the down payment pre-construction, okay, on the apartment blocks. And after they're almost completed, they would put them back up for sale for 30 and 40% more of the valuation of the place. You understand that? That's a huge issue and a huge problem that has to be dealt with. Okay? Now, I have developed property here. I had my own property. I decided to develop it. Right? And this was very disheartening to me. And every time I hear about real estate, it makes me feel bad. All right? I decided I had a piece of property that I subdivided, and I decided a couple pieces of that. And when I say a couple, I mean every piece in there that a Caymanian wanted, I decided that they should get it. Okay? I went to every bank on this island, and I said to them, I will drop the cost of the property and the valuation of the property what it's coming out at, so Caymanians can have equity within the property if you give them a loan. Right? Every bank turned me away and would not accept that. Okay? So what I did, I decided to finance out the property to any Caymanian that wanted property from me. They came and I financed it myself to them.
Wow.
And with zero interest, I must tell you. I charge them zero interest. Right? People ask me how crazy why I was doing that. But I was doing that because I find that was my way of giving back to the Caymanian people and the young people that I know that need property on this island. Right? Okay? And I had my real estate license. Now I went and did the proper procedure, went to DCI, got my real estate license in order just to sell property that I own. Okay? Not going out there and trying to sell people houses or anything, property that I own, I want to develop, and I want to sell them myself, so we don't have a real estate agent involved with it, that I can sell it for what I want to sell it for. Right? Okay? Now, in saying that, now I went to renew my real estate license to do this, right? I said to them, I'm not selling any outside property, just my property. Okay? They wanted to come in and see accounts and blah, blah, blah. DCI wrote me this letter, I have it. And I said to them, well, there's no real estate agent in this office. Right? It's me. Right? You can come in and you can check and you can do whatever. I have a letter from them, and I turned in my license, but they wrote me a letter telling me that they wanted to charge me over $1 million and something dollars. Right? Okay? For some crap. So I turned in my license because it was not worth it for me to hold my license, and I'm just trying to sell property to my own Caymanian people so they can get a break, right? And then you have real estate agents doing these things on the line that I would call criminal, okay? And nothing is being done about it. And these are the things that we let slide, and we let go on and go on and go on till it's too late. This thing should have been dealt with years ago. I'm sure I'm not the only person that say it. I'm sure you all not the only people that talk about it. But we let these things, and Caymanians used to letting the horse run out the corral and down the road and out the water before we get to it. Right? And it's disheartening to me to hear these things. It upsets me.
Yep.
Anyway, gentlemen, have a good morning.
Thank you very much.
Gentlemen and lady.
Thank you very much. Okay, Ms. Susan, we have about 2 minutes. We have some breaking news here, and I want to share that with our audience as well. There's a release that was just issued today at 8:53 a.m. Media release: Government amends visitor restrictions further. So it says here that government has further amended restrictions on visitors to the Cayman Islands in 3 areas. 1, restrictions on all travelers from countries with a vaccination rate lower than 60% for the first dose or an approved vaccine to quarantine. Restrictions on unaccompanied, unvaccinated children to quarantine, and the payment for quarantine facilities by government. It says under the amended regulations which came into effect today, the current requirements to quarantine for visitors with vaccination certificates that cannot be securely verified and who have not spent the past 14 days in a country with a vaccination rate over 60% for the first dose of an approved vaccine has been removed. The result of this amendment is any vaccinated person may travel to the islands without being subject to quarantine on arrival if they complete the pre-arrival test, complete a medical and travel questionnaire, and undergo a medical examination if a Customs and Border Control officer considers it necessary, and if they complete and submit a travel declaration to Travel Cayman no less than 72 hours prior to departing, and also provide evidence of the travel declaration when requested to do so by a CBC officer. Visiting unvaccinated children under the age of 12 years, even if unvaccinated, will not be required to quarantine under certain conditions. The changes are expected to increase airline and visitor traffic at Owen Roberts International Airport by supporting more family travel this summer. This relaxation change means an unaccompanied, unvaccinated child under the age of 12 years old who is a Caymanian resident or person with close ties will not be required to quarantine on arrival in the islands if they intend to reside at a place where all other occupants 12 years and over are vaccinated. However, the unaccompanied, unvaccinated child will be required to quarantine if they intend to reside in a place where an unvaccinated person over the age of 12, blah, blah, blah. So this is pretty long. What I would say to this, we need to have someone from the Ministry of Health, maybe the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Ortelia Newton, in the studio to explain all of this, because it is quite encompassing, and it will need to have that personal touch to it to explain everything. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, those callers on hold, we will accommodate you, so please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
JN Money, money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use a money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we a pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank? Yeah. Pay your bills quick? Yeah. Low fees, you know what it? Yeah. JN Money, we a pick? Yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Thinking of getting a hybrid but don't know much about them? Vamp Motors has 3 great reasons why you should own the Toyota CHR. Hybrid save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries while being driven. So there's no need to plug in your hybrid, making it both economical and fun to drive. And you don't have to replace your battery every 2 years. The CHR Hybrid is reliable, providing up to 1 million kilometers on the same battery and engine. Oh, and now you can save $2,000 off the Toyota CHR, starting at only $33,500.
That's way more than 3 reasons.
True, but the best one is that it's on sale now. Test drive the Toyota CHR today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road, while stocks last.
The Department of Environmental Health would like to remind the public that applications for bonfire permits are to be submitted to the Secretary of the Public Lands Commission via email at plc@gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're going straight to the phone lines because we've had callers holding for a while, but I thought it was extremely important to share that breaking news with you. And of course, we credit the Ministry of Health and Wellness with that information. But like I said, we should have someone in the studio talking about it for us. Hopefully someone will be on here on Monday to talk about this as well. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Connor, and good morning to your panelists.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Marisa. Yeah, Mario Ebanks here.
Good morning, Mr. Mario.
Good morning. I heard you all talking about the subjects of PR and status. I want to call for just for a bit to give my contribution.
Okay.
And I also thought also came to me that of your 2 panelists in there, both of them have been candidates in elections, as I have been. And I wonder why the 3 of us didn't get elected, and I also wonder why, I wonder how things would have been different if we had been elected. Anyway, I called today also because I want to. It's fitting that in the day that we're burying the Honorable Benson O.E. Banks, the architect of the Caymanian Protection Law of 1972, that we talk about these subjects because those are part of his legacy. Mr. Orrit, you remember in the election last year, and I came in there a number of times to talk to you, and for the record, we talked about the same thing of the PR, the permanent residence point system.
Yes.
And I pointed out to you that I believe it's 25% of the points people get for owning property.
Yes.
And I also said to you that that was part of the reason why the prices of property are going so high. And also, we're giving people credit for their financial wherewithal, but things like nation building and training of Caymanians and hiring Caymanians and upward mobility of Caymanians has not been given enough points in the PR process.
Right.
We also talked about the alternative to that, and we can talk about that some more, but that takes a little more time. We can talk about that perhaps separately in another show. I also heard recently, or saw recently, where the Youth Parliament and the Youth Ambassadors are also talking about this same topic of the point system and how it impacts the cost of property for young Caymanians, etc., etc. What I feel is happening to our country, Mr. Connor and your esteemed panelists, is that we are having what Sir Winston Churchill said in 1946 when he addressed the U.S. Congress after World War II, that an Iron Curtain was coming all over Europe. What's happening in the Cayman Islands? We're also having our Iron Curtain here as well. There's a cartel being formed, or has been formed, and those people are those wealthy expats that have come in here with nothing and have now got wealthy in our country, whether they're in law firms or accounting firms or whatever. They are now in a position where they can afford to invest in large amounts of real estate, and because of that, they're getting residency. They're progressing on to status. They're forming this cartel, and Caymanians are being marginalized in the workplace, marginalized in business, And I believe that if we don't deal with this soon, we're going to have a major problem in this country. It's expressing itself already, but it's going to become worse because we are having this iron curtain, and I believe it's going to soon blow up in our faces. Now, I have talked about in the past. I've written a paper which I spoke to you about, Mr. Orrit, and hopefully we'll talk about it in the future. A new category of permanent residency, where people can get PR, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they can progress the Caymanian status. And there's some technical details on that, and there's some legal issues which obviously we can talk about. But the point I want to make is that unless we have a long-term vision where we have a plan for this country, we're having a situation where Caymanians cannot afford land or real estate at a reasonable price, young Caymanians especially, and young Caymanians who are going off to university. I mean, nowadays we are spending millions on providing breakfast and lunches for students. We're doing fantastic scholarships to Caymanians to get educated, but yet many of them are going overseas, and they don't want to come back home because
there's nothing here for them.
Nothing here. Yeah. They're not getting the opportunities, and also they can't afford to live here because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
So I leave you with this thought, Mr. Connor and panelists, that unless we have a long-term plan, we address immigration, we address work, we address human capital development, we address nation building, 80 years from now, people will remember what I said today, that our Iron Curtain has come down in the Cayman Islands and we are finished. We cannot afford that. We need to deal with it. As people didn't believe Sir Winston Churchill in 1946 about the Iron Curtain over Europe, which we're seeing happening again. If we don't address our problems, the Iron Curtain is going to also be on the Cayman Islands. We could have prevented it, and we need to prevent it. We need to take a partnership, long-term vision, and the PR system needs to be addressed right away, not kicked down the street for the next 5 or 10 years.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller.
Caller, the only thing I don't agree with you on is that you say it's going to take 80 years. It's not going to take that. Yeah?
It's here.
It's here. It's not going to take that long, my friend.
And OC,
from my position that I sit, I know it's not going to take that long.
Can I say? Cayman is not for everyone.
Yep.
You know, and we need to get serious about that. This whole security of tenure.
Yes.
We need to get serious about that.
Yeah, we operated on the whole basis that
that's
we need to provide, people have lived, they said, they have lived in the Cayman Islands for so long, we have allowed them to live there.
They don't want to go back home.
To give them security of tenure. Well,
I don't know.
The Atlantic slave trade ended a long time ago, so all of those persons who come here now, they come here voluntarily. I just say that much. Let's grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC. Good morning, Dr. McNeil, and good morning to my dear friend, Teresa.
Good morning.
Very, very emotional subject for me on all kind of levels, and I'm calling today those who recognize my voice. So, I run the risk of actually alienating myself in the industry, as I've spent the last 32 years earning my living in the development industry. But I also feel like somebody who's just crying out in the wilderness and nobody's listening, because from far back as 2009, I've actually said that any foreign national that comes here and wants to buy a piece of property should be made to pay an annual land property tax, right? And we can argue about what that rate would be. But here's the simple scenario. We are allowing massive conglomerates or wealthy just individuals or people who pool together and put some money to come and buy a piece of land buying it at no cost to them, but a cost to us, because for every time that property was been sold and finally they ended up buying it, the cost is increased. We are gentrifying our own people. We're doing it to ourselves. And this is the part that kills me. And then the salt in the wound is that you need nothing more than a high school diploma and enough money to live here for a couple of months to become a realtor and sell.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
I mean, what kind of craze?
We need to stop being apologists. We need to stop being sympathizers, whatever the case may be. And countries now around the world are realizing this, that it has to get back to me first.
Yes.
If you fail to plan, or if you plan, then you plan to fail, and that's an old saying there. This topic, OC, I would implore you that you actually make this actual entire show, because and maybe get some industry professionals. And I don't know if there are people who are going to want to step up because for fear of victimization.
Yes.
But it on a selfish level, for me, I can keep my mouth shut and I can continue doing what I'm doing and making a very good living right now. Because in my industry, it's feast or famine. It's never a happy medium. But I do believe that it can be, if planned properly, it could be a happy medium and everybody be served. But the reality simply is that properties now are being purchased sight unseen by extremely wealthy individuals or entities, and then they're coming down and setting the prices, and these prices are being artificially inflated also by the realtors whose interest it is in selling them for the highest price because they get the biggest commission.
Yes.
So there's all kinds of issues here that really perpetuates the problem that we're having. And my two children, I have been blessed and fortunate enough to be able to afford to get my children educated overseas with a university degree. One is graduated now and has been out for almost 3 years, and one is graduating this coming May. And honestly, neither one of them the two of them sees any hope, neither do I and their mother see any real substantive hope of them, forging away on this island. Unfortunately for them, which is not the case for myself or for others, they actually have dual citizenship and have an alternative. What about our Caymanians who don't? And moreover, the people that are coming here and being given all of these opportunities, when the crap hits the fan,
they're going to be the first to leave.
they got a first, and not only the first to leave, but on a first-class ticket.
Caller, I want to thank you very much for that. We have 3
friend.
callers on hold. Miss Susan, close those phone lines off at that third caller, because we're only going to have about 12 minutes when we return from this commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Are you feeling sick, but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
For the record, with Chr.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Chr. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're going to take our final 3 callers for the morning. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Good morning. Go right ahead, sir. Go right ahead. We're listening.
Okay, good morning to you and your panel, and good morning to my special friend, Mr. Mike Field, Dr. Mike Field.
Good morning, sir. How are you, Mr. Morgan?
I'm doing okay.
Yes.
As usual, I'm listening and contemplating and what is the problem here in the island. I don't have a magic wand to say what is the problem, but until you say and I say until we realize and move forward with the district council, we're not going to be much further ahead, It is a situation that, is it some sort of a iron curtain law or situation that we're in that they don't want to come forward with this thing? We cannot be controlled anymore by the present situation that we have there. We have to move forward And it's time to move forward with this whole thing to give the people of the people a chance to have some say. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller, for that. That's how we love them. Nice
Short and sweet.
Yes. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, sir? How are you? Everybody in the studio.
Good morning.
Great,
yes,
thanks,
sir.
my dear.
I'm looking at a JP service. So
Okay.
Monday.
No problem. No problem. You know where to find me.
Yes, sir. Manufacturers, our problem, or conquered breed, how are we doing today? Anybody can tell me, or anybody else in the public who's listening, what is the money velocity in the Cayman Islands? And that would be taking into account the both economies, the official economy and the unofficial economy. I believe if we made a concerted effort to get viable figures for that, Caymanians would wake up. We're not so fooled. But we need, if Caymanians knew the amount of money that passed through this country and the amount of money we don't make for that passage and the amount of money that we should be making for the little dribs and drabs that stay, we would wake up. I do believe, conquered people, we would wake up. The money velocity of this country. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller. Last caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Nancy. How you doing?
Good morning. Fine. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, sir. Good morning to you and your panel there.
Good morning.
Morning. I was listening to that gentleman that called just before the last three of us that called.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't agree more with him. And I can't get over our leaders in our country and how they're treating the people here. I just had a young man, my young son, come back from college. And to know that he spent 4 years to get the highest degrees at a cost that came from his father and mother. And to know that he come here and government give him 3 days per week work. The whole situation with this Cayman Islands system that we are running under is they call votes. They get these people into the country. They promise them diamonds and gold in order for them to be there when they're ready for them to vote, to get their votes. It is sad to know that our Caymanian people got suffer this way because our people get greedy to know that they put these foreigners into the country and they rely on them to get their votes when it comes to voting time. I want to know which system, when they come on the building, which other part of the world can we go and build a home, buy property, and have it to say it's ours and have nothing to do with the government? Why should these people come here and do this kind of thing in our country? And we, as a person, let me say one thing. I am a pensioner. I'm pensionable. At the end of the day, when all these younger ones that need jobs in the government, need money, these people come here, they get their lump sum, they get their big salary, and they get their big pension, and they're gone. They run with their big pay off their house, and they sell their home, and they're gone. Leave Cayman people in the dust. And our government sits down and allow these things to happen when they should have been taxed. They should have been taxed to come in our country, because if we go in a foreign country, we have to be taxed. Why should we be the ones that be taxed in our own country? And it just doesn't add up to me. And it's so sad to know that my own children, along with many more and many more to come, is going to suffer through the government allowing the foreigners to come here, receiving the jobs that our children, and most of these people that come here, they're coming here at age. Okay. They're sending news back to their country, telling them, come here, the government is paying them $5,000 a month, come here, get a job, and they work 5 years, they're gone with their big money. Okay. That is sad. That is sad. Anyway,
thank you very much, caller. Thank you very much for that. One message before I give you both an opportunity to for some closing comments as well. I shouldn't say closing comments. We'll adjourn. We'll adjourn till a date to be decided. This person says, "Good morning. While we wait for utopia, for the wheels of government bureaucracy to turn towards solutions like public transportation and satellite parking, Georgetown will die a slow death. There is no plan for Georgetown revitalization, only pipe dreams and complications. Such lack of leadership is sickening. Remember when the Honorable Linford Pearson and committee chaired by Mr. Eric Joseph conducted a study and proposed a plan in the early 1990s for Georgetown, public transportation, satellite parking, etc. 30 years ago, and nothing has happened yet. Why? No leadership and no long-term planning champions. Closer to home, the last government introduced a free Metropolitan Georgetown bus shuttle to do exactly what you are suggesting, Mr. Connor. But what happened to that? When there is no vision, the people perish. And I must say about that, that was more of a pilot program that was started by, I think, Minister Joey Hugh at the time, as well. So I want to thank that writer for that information as well. So, Ms. T, we're going to start with you and with Dr. Macfield.
Yeah, it's a pity we didn't get to talk about this whole idea of self-respect, that when we love ourselves and when we put ourselves forward first, when we speak truth to our past and how our past impacts the way we are today and what it's going to take to actually move us through, that whole idea of self-respect, even if we have one show, OC, I know Eddie was saying that we also need to talk about this whole issue of land and stuff, which is equally important. At some point in time, we need to be honest. Cayman is not for everyone. Someone was saying that, we get an average of X amount of applications for status. So in no time, we'll be at that 100,000 level in terms of persons living here. Do we want to continue to live in a community where we are always last? I don't know. That's all I have to say for now.
All right, Doc?
What we need is someone like Mr. Ormond Panton, Ormond Lauder Panton. Do you remember him? How many school children know about him? How many of our guests know about him? How many people know about his anti-colonial stance and his nationalism? I noticed that they made him a national hero, and I wonder if it's just to have his lip service and put him out there so people can pass and see.
Yeah.
Because if they could make a man like that a national hero and just put a bus there and walk away and leave it, then I know that there's no hope for me making any changes in my lifetime in Cayman. What we need are courageous people, committed people, confidential people, and people unapologetic to the big business people who wants to turn this island into another Manhattan, another Miami Beach, or another Monaco. It's funny what happens to people when they go to a colonial country like ours, an island as small as ours. Boy, they love the natives. They come. They love the beach. They love the fruit. They love all those things. They love the quaint streets. And as soon as they hear 3 months to 6 months, they start destroying the beach, destroying the quaint streets, building their houses in the water. Even though we told them, listen, you see that we don't have our house on the water, on the waterfront. It's because we know what the sea can do to your house, to yourself. We use it to pull up our canoes, to launch our boats and stuff, things like that. And we do not have courageous, committed, confident, unapologetic people to stand for us. Okay. I just can't believe, for instance, I'll leave with this. The For instance, the prescriptive law says that once we have been using a beach or a beach access for recreation, for bathing, for swimming, and for anything ancillary thereto for 20 years unopposed, that we have it an indefeasible right to use it. That means it cannot be taken away forever, and the government doesn't record it.
Doesn't support it.
Crazy.
Okay, Doc, I want to thank you very much for that. So, again, big shout out to Henny Webster, also known, we call him Percy as well, celebrating his birthday today, and Miss Vernice Miles and all of the people up in the east sending their regards to you, as well as Miss Baba, also Miss Jane Ramon, Mr. Evan Dillon, who's celebrating a birthday today as well. Belated happy birthday greetings to Miss Joellen Ray Smith. And also, big shout out to Mr. Donovan Ebanks' uncle, who is 96 years old today, Mr. Lloyd Ebanks, a gentleman who is 96 years old and is sharp as ever from a mental standpoint. He still gets around a little. He's an avid reader and has never, ever owned a pair of glasses. Folks, I want to thank you. I want to thank Dr. Steve McFeel and Miss Theresa Pitcairn for making this show such an interesting, informative, provocative show this morning. I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want, or even those who crave. And those who crave include all of those who are inflating the prices on property in the Cayman Islands, taking it out of the reach of natural-born Caymanians as well. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money. From abroad to yard. Fast, affordable, convenient.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman.